Welcome to the Informed Pregnancy and Parenting Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Elliot Berlin. Today, I'm joined by two close friends and moms-to-be who are navigating pregnancy together. While their pregnancy experience has been similar, their birth plans aren't. One is a model and television host who got her start with UFC, just like me, and one is a successful photographer who specializes in headshots and editorials and all sorts of artsy things. Arianny, Celeste, and Richelle Monet, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks. Exciting.
Yeah, really, there's 5 of us on the podcast today.
Yeah.
You each have a passenger. And before we get into these pregnancies, where are you each from? And how did you meet? Arianny, let's start with you since you're almost due. We have to get it out before your baby comes out.
So I am from originally Las Vegas, Nevada. I moved out here to LA probably 10 years ago. And I met Richelle, actually, it was in London. And she was dancing and twirling around. And I was just like, who's that girl? She looks like fun. And we just hit it off, and we just been talking ever since. And it was like, I feel like over 10 years ago.
Wait, you were just happened to both be in London for travel? And
she went to watch a fight. I went to work a fight for UFC.
oh, so you met at the fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, through a mutual friend.
Oh, got you. So Vegas to LA. What brought you to LA?
Just I wanted to pursue, at the time, acting and hosting. I ended up liking hosting better, but yeah, had to move to LA for all the normal things, being a big star.
Yeah, I think all the abnormal things are back home in Vegas.
The abnormal things?
Yes.
No, it's actually kind of boring in Vegas, to be honest. It's very normal, off the strip, very suburban life. So I grew up very normal.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the image you get. As soon as you told me you're from Vegas, I was like, show me a card trick or something. But no.
Really gambled, so.
Yeah, because I got the Jewish anxiety. I can't gamble. I can't even look when they spin the wheel or whatever it is. Richelle, where are you from originally?
I'm from Denver, Colorado, the mountains. Well, not the mountains, but the Mile High City. And I moved to Los Angeles about 10 years ago too, 2008. So a little over 10 years ago. And I originally moved there also for acting, but then, started to do photography.
Wait a second. But did you have an interest in photography before acting? No?
No, I didn't. Actually, my fiance, my partner, he's the one who got me into photography because he was doing photography and then he taught me. And I was originally just going to do it to like shoot people's headshots and just have like a side job from acting. But then I started to really get into shooting and then started a business and then didn't really have time for the acting and started like trying to do my business, run my business. So then I just started to focus on photography and
What do you mostly shoot?
So I do a lot of headshots, but I also do like a lot of editorial. Like last year I shot Arianny's calendar. I've done like swimsuit campaigns and I've done like a lot of like Instagram influencers.
Yeah, yesterday I started to look for somebody to shoot my calendar. So I would only take somebody who twirls and dances and bobs around a lot.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know why you were twirling and bobbing around, but that is so your personality.
We were out at a nightclub. I'm more reserved, I feel like. So I was like sitting, sipping my drink. And she was just like twirling around, like having the best time. I was like, I have to know this girl. So
I love dancing. I'm a dancer.
Do you know I used to be a big dancer?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've only danced twice, but I felt big both times. I felt really big, actually. So I stopped doing it. Arianny, I have a close relationship with UFC. I was working out in the gym one day. It was pretty much the only day. And a guy like backs into me at the gym and we started talking for a little bit and he was a UFC kind of fighter and he's like, hey, you want to work out with me? I don't have a workout partner. And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, look, let's put on these gloves and we can like box a little bit with each other and we could do some kickboxing. And I was like, no way, you're a UFC fighter. I eat donuts. But he was like a tiny little guy who was like 115 pounds. He's like, trust me, if anybody has to worry, it's me because I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. If you just accidentally hit me or fall on me, I'm in trouble. And so we started to work out together and he got me really good shape with all these like jump rope things. The first time I did it, I couldn't get like more than 3 jumps before I tripped myself and fall on my face. By the end of it, was like 500-600 skips in a row with a little bit of footwork. But anyway, back to you. That was my UFC story. What's yours?
My UFC story is I was just paying my way through college and I needed a job and my agency sent me on audition and UFC was looking for an octagon girl and I got chosen. And then after like a few events, they kept asking me to come back. And then finally they offered a long-term deal. So I've literally been with the company probably like 14 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is a long time. Are the rings octagon shape? Where's that term come from?
So yeah, they fight in an octagon. So I call it an octagon. I know people say ring girls, but I always say octagon girl.
Me too. I always say octagon girl.
It's classier.
But it's a weird shape. Do you walk around the outside or the inside?
We walk around the outside.
Like as a stop sign shape?
Yes.
In that pattern?
Yeah.
I mean, is there training for it?
There's no training, but you definitely have to be able to represent the company in the best light, talk about the sport, do interviews. You're kind of like the spokesmodel of UFC.
Oh, that's cool.
You do like fan events and all kinds of stuff.
14 years was a long time. They must like you.
Yeah. I'm pretty responsible. I'm always on top of my game. Try to stay in shape. So,
Did working UFC, I mean, it looks like you traveled with them quite a bit. Did it open up other doors for you?
Yeah, it definitely opened up other doors and it like gave me the confidence to move to LA, I think. Not only because I had like a steady job, but also just like being in a bikini in front of a bunch of people like kind of gives you like a confidence boost. So I was like, okay, I can go to LA now and pursue what I want to pursue. So I came here and I signed with an agency and I did a bunch of like magazine covers and all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely opened so many doors for me. So
first of all, I had a dream that I was in a bikini in front of a bunch of people and did not boost my confidence at all. I woke up and I took extra Zoloft. But I mean, you guys have like a shooty relationship.
Yeah. She's shot me a lot. I love her photos. They're beautiful. I've shot you a few, would you say? I don't know.
Oh, maybe. You've shot each other?
Maybe not.
Wait, what?
Like on your camera? Have I taken your camera and like shot you? Maybe a few times. Oh, yeah, in the desert. Joshua Tree.
Oh, okay, yeah. For girlfriend box?
Yeah. But
they turned me into a model.
Yeah.
A photographer.
We were friends before anything.
Yeah.
Professional. Yeah. And do you guys consider yourselves to be similar or opposites attract?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah. I think we're similar, but I also think that
we're very different in some ways, but very similar. We're both like super loving, passionate. I'm more of like a dominant protector type. She's more of like a nurture protector type, I think. Like I'm always like ready to fight someone if anyone.
And I'm always ready to hug someone.
Hug. Oh, this totally could be an animated series. I see it coming together. I mean, now you're similar because you both have that same bump. I mean,
crazy.
All of us, really. All right, look, I'm going to take a little break. I want to find out about each of your pregnancies and how it's going. And then after that, what you're planning for birth. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Arianny, Celeste, and Richelle Monet. Welcome back to the Informed Pregnancy and Parenting Podcast. We're talking to Arianny and Richelle. Okay, so Arianny, you're ahead by like 7 weeks or so, something like that?
Yeah, 7 weeks.
But Rochelle's catching up.
Yeah.
Every week she's getting a little closer. Oh, wow. Yeah, we can't see it, but you're starting a show. I mean, let's go to the beginning. Were you ready? Were you like, let's have a kid now?
I was not. This year, we were planning on traveling and we had like 4 trips already planned. And then we found out we were pregnant. And then
How'd you find out?
well, it was actually kind of emotional. I was emotional over the Kobe Bryant passing.
Yeah.
And I'm not a sports fan, and I don't know much about Kobe Bryant. I just know he was an amazing athlete. But I found myself like getting emotional about it, and I don't cry very easily at all.
Oh.
So I was talking to my mom, and she's like, "Oh, you're very emotional. You might want to take a pregnancy test." And I'm like, "She's just been waiting for me to be pregnant." So she was like hoping for it. So I was like, "Okay, maybe I should." And then I did, and then we found out, and everything changed.
More emotions.
Yeah, a lot of emotions. And then, so I found out end of January, and then beginning of March is when like all the pandemic and stuff happened. So the beginning of my pregnancy, I think it was at first a little bit nerve-wracking, but as it progressed, I was very happy to be home, to have time to myself and to spend it with my partner and just like enjoy every minute of it, really, because I'm always on the go. So
Did you stop working for pregnancy?
I worked all up until March, like events, but luckily like I do social media stuff too, so I'm able to work from home, pretty much work from wherever, really. So the events stopped for me, but everything else, I've been super busy this whole pregnancy. So
They stopped because of the pandemic, or they stopped because of the pregnancy?
they stopped because of the pandemic. And then by the time they started up like maybe 2 months ago or something. I was already showing. So yeah, I wasn't going to walk around in a bikini with a bump. So
Would they have wanted that? I mean, people love pregnancy. They're really fascinated by pregnancy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They wouldn't have, yeah. But you didn't want to.
No, I didn't. For safety precautions too, I didn't want to travel being pregnant with the baby.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how has pregnancy been for you, first, second, third trimester?
The first trimester was very emotional and hormonal and moody. I wasn't used to having to slow down, so I had to like talk to myself and be gentle with myself and just listen to my body. And then the second trimester was great. I felt like there were times where I forgot that I was pregnant. I was like, okay, you need to slow down. You need to calm down. But I was back to working out and doing everything that I love. And then the third trimester has been back to slowing down. My body hurts a lot because of the extra weight. But other than that, I think I've had a really beautiful pregnancy. Not a lot of nausea or anything like that. So I just feel really lucky. It's been great.
I mean, it's really nice that you get to enjoy it. And, there's some silver lining to pandemic that you get to settle down and chill out for a little bit. There's just no pressure to go anywhere. But I did have this question. Some people love the body changes during pregnancy. Some people hate them. Some people are just in between about it. I mean, your body kind of is your career for a long time. How are the changes for you? I know they're uncomfortable. You started small and put on the same typical weight that other people do. But when you start small, that's a much bigger percentage. But how did it feel to you, like look-wise and feel-wise?
Look-wise and feel-wise, I definitely was a bit nervous about growing and expanding and everything. But I think I was mostly worried about stretch marks and preventing those. So I've been like really diligent with like my creams and all that. And I've been told that it's like a hereditary thing. So my mom doesn't have them, thank God. So we'll see. So far, so good. But I just believe in the power of positive thinking. And I think that if you're already a fit person, you're more than likely able to like bounce back and stuff. So I'm just trying to be positive about it and not like speak those negative things into existence, because my body is my job and it's been my job for 14 years. So I think if I went the other way, I would be like obsessing over it every day and it wouldn't be healthy. So yeah.
I mean, do you see it and feel amazed at all, like about how it's able to do what it's doing?
Yeah, I'm definitely amazed by the female body and the fact that you can grow a little human and
You have a little passenger in there. It's crazy.
yeah.
I'll never have it, but the closest I ever come to like feeling kicks is, I guess, when my toddlers come in bed with us, and they always put their legs where your belly is. Hopefully, belly, sometimes lower. They hit below the belt, and then they do. I've woken up at 2:30 in the morning, jumped out of bed, and squealed like a Mickey Mouse. Anyway, back to you guys. So, Richelle, let's talk about you. Were you planning? Were you like, hey, now is a great time to have a baby?
I wasn't planning. I think maybe the year before I decided to get off of birth control because my partner and I, my fiance and I, we've been together for 6 years now, I want to say. And, I'm 30s now. So I was just like, if it happens, it happens. So it happened.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was crazy because I ended up, this was like after the whole quarantine. So then I find out. So I can't go to the doctors to go double check. So I ended up taking like 9 different pregnancy tests.
Oh, wow. They should come as a bouquet. Nobody trusts the first 2.
So it was like the first test, it was 2, right? So
Yeah.
I ended up doing the digital. There's a digital one and then there's the one with the line. So I did the digital one. The digital one says yes. And then the line, the second time I did it, there was only 1 line, which means no.
Not pregnant. Oh, no.
Not
so you
pregnant.
had to buy more.
So then I was, right. So I was so confused. And then
They do that on purpose, so you buy another set.
Exactly.
There should be a
lot
third
of
one that like just reads it to you.
Right? Like, yes, you are pregnant.
You should be able to pick a celebrity voice who tells you that you're knocked up or not.
I wish I knew how to do a celebrity voice.
I can only do one impression. It's Southern California people taking off their shoes. I just kick my right leg and kick my left leg. I could.
So
Kermit the Frog here. That's my only one.
there you go.
Thank you.
There you go. So yeah, I did another one. Same thing happened.
What? Oh, you did both again? Wow.
Yeah. So then I sent the picture to Ari. I was like, Ari, like, this is so confusing. And then she was like, it literally looks like there's a faded line in there, like a second one. Then I looked closer and I was like, oh, it's a little bit faded, but you could barely see it. So
Yeah.
I still wasn't convinced. So I was like, okay, let's do this, but let's wait a week. So then I bought another set. It had 3 in it. So then, the digital came out, yes. And then the other 2 with the lines, they both had a second line, but it was so faded still. So anyways, so I ended up taking 9 pregnancy tests. And then finally, I was brave enough to go get checked because I was afraid to go to the hospital or the doctor's office to get checked.
Because of the virus?
COVID.
Or?
Yeah. I didn't want to get it.
Yeah, there was that time period where people were like terrified to leave the house.
Yeah.
Now they're like itching to go to bars or whatever.
Right?
Let me out. Especially if you have like little kids at home. I gotta get out of the house. People are so stressed out. It's almost over. It's got to be almost over.
Hopefully after the elections, right?
That's my skepticism, but who knows?
Yeah.
I think right after November. Oh, we're good now.
Fingers crossed.
I do have this question. How was your first, second, and third trimester?
So my first trimester was really rough. And I think it was rough maybe also because of having to be quarantined and not being able to go to classes and stuff. And I'm very active. I always do yoga. I always do spin classes. I'm just very active. So not being able to go to classes and then having zero energy and zero motivation to like work out by myself. So I think the first trimester was kind of depressed. I was depressed. I was sleeping a lot.
I can't even picture that. You're like the model of high energy, like glass 3/4 full.
Well, I was sleeping a lot and I wasn't working and I just kind of felt like useless. And then nauseous. I was very nauseous. I only got sick once though.
Where were you?
I was at home because normally I drink 32 ounces of lemon water in the morning and I did that and it just came out.
That's a lot of ounces of sickness.
Yeah, it was crazy. So then I just started to do lemon water again because I've been afraid.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been afraid. That scared me. I was like, it came out of my nose and everything. So,
you know what? My kids for like a year and a half, they started a company called PJ Lemonade, where they made all sorts of lemonade, really cool ones. They had really cool flavors. And they made a mojito lemonade, like a blueberry habanero pepper lemonade. They're all really good with a little vodka. But anyway, so
You said they're good with a little bit of vodka?
yeah, they're selling more to the parents than to the kids. And so... And they would take all their money and buy pajamas for kids who didn't have a warm, comfortable pair of pajamas. So they called it PJ Lemonade. And then people, when they would set up their little lemonade stand, they bottled it. It was very professional. They would just give them money, and they wouldn't want the lemonades, a lot of the people. So they're like, how come you don't take lemonade? Like, they were offended and like, oh, we're trying to cut down on sugar. So they made a spiced lemon water. That's kind of amazing. There's like 9 different spices in there. And cold pressed lemons, and they shut it down for COVID, but we might make you a batch.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely into lemon water. Yeah.
So second trimester, more energy. Do you feel better?
Yeah. Second trimester. Well, because first trimester I was in Colorado. Second trimester, I went back to LA and I set up my studio as a little gym. So that was pretty cool because I had all my stuff there. So I was able to work out. And then I was able to see Arianny. Of course, I missed her. So yeah, it was a lot better. Second trimester was way better. And I also did a road trip in Mexico.
Ooh, yeah. A road trip?
Yeah.
Through Mexico?
Yeah, with some family friends. We started off in Playa del Carmen. So then we went to Tulum.
Ooh.
And then I think it's called baklava.
Is that like a Greek dessert?
No, it's a city in Mexico.
Okay. Do you speak Spanish?
Chiapas. No, but I'm learning.
You are? Okay. I'm fluent, so if you need any help.
Okay.
I'm just fluent with the colors, though. I only speak colors.
Okay.
Amarillo.
So like,
yeah.
Amarillo, azul,
Amarillo, yeah.
rojo,
I told that. Exactly. You're speaking my language. Verde, rosa, rojo.
Verde.
So, I hired somebody and I was like, oh yeah, I speak fluent Spanish. And I was like, just the colors. And she was testing me on all the colors. And then she's like, purple. And I was like, purpura. And she's like, what? It's morada. I'm like, no, it's purpura. So the way I learned the colors, somebody gave my kid a little teddy bear that when he squeezes different paws, he says, red is rojo. And then he's got a purple pod and you squeeze the purple and it goes, purple is purpura. But I didn't realize purpura is more of like a medical illness kind of purple, like when your skin turns bluish purple. I was like, where is this bear from?
That's awesome.
And now your third trimester now?
Third trimester. So third trimester is good, a little less energy, not as much. And I've been doing a lot of organizing. And I also feel, I don't know if you feel the same way, Arianny, but I feel like third trimester, I've been really like hormonal. I don't know. Like I've been a little bit more hormonal.
In
like
what
a little
way?
bit more, just more sensitive, I guess. But maybe it's just because I'm a Pisces. And Pisces are sensitive. I don't know. So
I mean, I'm a little nervous for what happens after you have the baby. That's when my wife really
me
got
too.
kind of sensitive.
Me too. Believe
I don't
me.
want to date myself, but after we had the baby, she would open up her email and it would be like, "You've got mail," and she would be weepy because she was so touched by that. Yeah, we had AOL. Some people still have AOL. I don't think it comes same day. I think you got to wait a few days for it to get there. Anyway, I think we got to take a break. Let's take a break and come back and find out what y'all are planning for labor and delivery. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Informed Pregnancy Podcast. We are talking to Richelle and Arianny, and both of you are in your third trimester getting ready for birth. Richelle, when did you start thinking about what kind of birth you want to have?
Probably like in my 20s.
Oh, you've been thinking about it for a long time? People do. Sometimes it's like the wedding where you're like 9 years old dreaming about your wedding.
Right. Well, I was inspired. By a friend, a really close friend of mine. Her name is Candace. I've always looked up to her. She's amazing. She's this amazing human. And I've always looked up to her. She has 2 boys now, both natural births, and then they're both home births. And she's actually also pregnant. She's
Oh, wow.
she's a week before Arianny, so she's hoping to give birth this Sunday. So,
That's very specific target.
So, she told me about it and I was really fascinated about it. So then I watched the documentary, The Business of Being Born, and
Ricky got you.
yeah, she got me. And I decided that I definitely wanted to do a natural birth. But at first I was thinking of a birthing center, but then I decided to go with a home birth because I guess at a birthing center, they release you 3 hours after you have the baby.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to leave 3 hours later with a 3-hour-old baby. So then I chose Nina as my doula. And so Nina was explaining to me how, the midwives who do at home births, they take everything that they have at the birthing center to your house.
Like duffel bags of equipment.
Yeah. So then I ended up talking to a few different midwives, and then I decided to go with my midwife, Abby. And she made me feel so comfortable. She made me feel like, okay, this is the right choice. I'm really excited about doing a home birth.
By the way, who's due with her third kid today or something like that?
Oh, she is? Is she?
I mean, she's due in the next week, I think.
Yeah.
So she's going to have her kid recover and then come catch your kid.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? But I don't know. I guess because of the fact that she's pregnant, and then when I talked to her, we literally talked for over an hour on the phone, and I just loved her. And then I was like, she's going to have just gone through this, so she's going to probably be really compassionate and gentle with me.
Or just really hormonal. We'll find out.
So, yeah, I'm definitely excited about this. So I'm really happy with the choice I made. And
I've been honored to attend birth with both of them, not together, but at separate births. And I think they're both really fantastic. So
what? You might be going to one with both of them.
Might be the first one. Yeah, with everybody. I got to watch out. A room full of very hormonal people scares me. But I'll do my best. I'll wear my mouth guard in case I get punched. Are there parts that you're excited about, parts that you're nervous about? Who else is coming?
So I'm going to have Carson come. Carson Meyer there.
She's taking pictures.
Yeah, she's going to take pictures. She's going to do the video, and she's going to be taking photographs.
I'll be sketching things with my pen. It's because you're the master shooter, so it's kind of a lot of pressure on her. When I adjust a chiropractor who's been doing it for 30 years, it's ooh, I'll break a sweat.
Aw, no pressure. And then possibly you and Abby and Nina. So that will be
That's such an amazing team.
And then my partner, obviously. And then my sister. I would love to have my sister there. If I could get her there. I just don't know.
Is she not in LA or?
No, she lives in New Mexico. Oh. So I guess flying her out. Yeah, Breaking Bad.
I remember her.
Who?
Your sister, because I watched the whole Breaking Bad.
Oh, I'm actually watching it right now. Or not right now, but yeah. I just watched the Better Call Saul.
Oh, Better Call Saul, the spinoff, the prequel.
So good. It's so good. It's really good.
I just love that whole series.
Yeah, it's really good.
So you got a great team.
I have an amazing team.
Which one of these is not like the other? I feel like a fly in the wall with that incredible team of woman power you surrounded yourself with.
I mean, I don't even know how I'm just really grateful that I found all of them.
Carson told me she just saw you singing and been bouncing around, and she's like, I got to take pictures at her birth. Are there parts you're nervous about? And also, are you going to be in water? Are you going to be on land? I mean, obviously, we don't know until you get there, but.
Well, I'm wanting to do water. I want to do a water birth. But then my friend Chandace told me her 2 boys for home birth, she planned for the water birth, but then she ended up not wanting to get into the water. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. And I'm really excited, but I am nervous. I'm nervous because it's huge. You're having a baby and he's coming through your portal. I call my vagina my portal now.
Yeah, we have the octagon girls and the portals. Yeah. You just have your own terminology. I like it. Nobody can say that actual anatomical word with a straight face. I don't know why it's such a weird word.
Wait, which word? Vagina?
Vagina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their name for it. So your portal, you're worried about your portal?
Yeah. But I'm reading this book called Hypnobirthing. It's really good. So it's taken off a lot of anxiety about it, and it's made me feel a lot more comfortable. And I'm working with Nina on hypnobirthing as well.
Oh, amazing.
So, I'm ready to breathe the baby out, maybe even own the baby out.
Oh.
That's my goal.
I love it. You know what my memory of you is? The first time I met you, you had that mask that was like a big mouth.
Yeah.
The pandemic
With the
mask.
lips?
Yeah, the lips. And then when you're talking, they were like moving around. And I was like, oh my God, this is surreal. I'm supposed to be. So I think, the good news is your portal is meant to transmit people from one place to another. So
exactly. So
it's built for that.
So I think I'm nervous about okay, so in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe this won't be as painful as like I had imagined it before, but there's definitely going to still be pressure because I've watched some home birth videos and I mean, they're really beautiful. I've cried a couple times, but it also is making me feel like, okay, so I have this idea of like oming the baby out and being super like breathing. And then he's just going to come through if I let my contractions, like just letting him come through and not resisting. But then when I watch these videos, I'm just like, oh, okay, It looks a little bit harder than what I'm imagining it now. So,
you might cuss it through. You might cuss it right through your body, through your portal. But are you open-minded, like if things come up that you have a plan B, like a more medical environment?
Well, of course. Like I am definitely like if something was to come up, like if I had to be rushed to the doctor or to the hospital, I would have to go. I don't really have the plan B yet though. I haven't like sat down and like wrote down the whole plan. I'm going to do that with my next meeting with Abby.
Okay.
So at my next meeting. Yeah. So I guess like after giving birth, like how sore I'm going to be and how my body is going to feel. I think that's also something that I'm a little concerned about, like how long it's going to take to bounce back.
That's fair. I mean, I think Arianny said this, that when you go into pregnancy and birth pretty fit and healthy, your body usually recovers pretty quickly. There's exceptions to every rule, but that's a pretty good general rule from everything I've seen. All that working out and exercise and eating well, it serves you really well in your recovery. So
yeah,
I think there's a good chance you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Speaking of Arianny back there, let's talk about your birth plan. When did you start thinking about what you want to do and what's influenced you and where did you land?
I don't know. I've just never seen myself doing a home birth. My mother used to work at a birthing center, so I don't know. I'm very comfortable in like medical situations. I've had breast augmentation twice. I just feel a little bit more comfortable with having the doctor at hand, I guess. And I really
There's a word that I'm wondering why you would do it twice.
Oh, just different implants.
You take them out and put in a new set?
Yeah, I had a scar tissue around my first set, so I had to get them replaced.
Oh, I see. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, and I also watched The Business of Being Born, and honestly, it did the opposite for me. It made me more nervous and like more scared and like, I don't know, I just feel more comfortable in a hospital setting. I do have Nina as my doula, and I have my partner who's super supportive and like very zen in his own way. So I feel like I'm in good hands, and I've been doing the hypnobirthing stuff too. So I feel a lot more confident than I did before. Like before I was like super scared of the whole process. But now I just feel like, okay, it's definitely going to be a journey, and it's definitely going to have its ups and downs and a lot of surprises, I'm sure. But I think that no matter what happens, it's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to be able to hold my baby, and I'm just so excited for it as well.
I mean, it's cool that you went from fearful to excited. Was that through the process of hypnobirthing or hypnosis, or were there other things?
The process of hypnobirthing and just facing the fact that you have to kind of like breathe through the waves of everything that's going on instead of like resisting. And in my life, I'm very like controlling. I like control every aspect of my life. I'm very driven. I'm very like by the book kind of. So for me, birthing is just like, it's so unknown, but I've been able to embrace that. Like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but either way, it's going to be beautiful no matter what happens. And yeah, hypnobirthing really did make me excited about it.
That's very cool. I mean, obviously, you're little bestie friends here, and you're both pretty strong, healthy, fit. And what's really cool is that you both have a different environment that makes you feel safe, right? So Richelle seems to feel safer in her home environment. You feel safer in a more medical environment with a medical safety blanket behind you. But it's also interesting that you're bringing the same tools, that you're both bringing in hypnobirthing with the same doula, the same doula that's working with you guys, Nina. And when you guys come back to share your individual birth stories, Nina said she'll join us too. So that's kind of awesome, because a lot of times when I interview people about their birth story and we don't have another witness there's a lot that's kind of like blurry for you, because at some point your conscious mind sort of hopefully turns off and you just go into that hardwired primal information part of your brain that just knows exactly how to give birth. And so the consciousness doesn't really remember clear details sometimes. But also you both work out. I mean, Arianny, you work out a lot and you push yourself through what must be intense workouts, physically challenging, painful sometimes. And so, labor also, it's very intense typically. I mean, I've seen a whole lot of them, and with rare exception, they never look relaxed and mellow. It was a little bit more intense than that, but it's the same thing. It's like mind over matter, I think, for your workouts. Like when you push yourself and you feel the burn and you push through that burn and you keep going till you get to the goal that you're looking for. I think that's like a good way, good preparation. You appreciate intensity for a good cause and you don't run away from it. So I don't know. I'm excited for both of you. I think it'll probably be kind of amazing. Who else is coming with you? You can only bring 2 people to the hospital now, right? So it's your partner.
My partner and Nina. Yeah.
And your doula.
I'm kind of happy about that, because I don't think I would want my mom there, because I don't know how she's going to react. I've never had a baby, but I feel like she would be like freaking out and like super protective. And it's such a personal like thing for me that I feel good that I have like my partner, and especially Nina. I don't think Taylor's going to freak out, but just in case he did, like at least Nina's there to like help him through it. But I know he's going to be great. So.
Yeah, my doula was amazing at the first birth. We have 4 kids. My first one, we were just getting into pregnancy care, so I didn't really know that much. And I wouldn't say I was freaking out, but I didn't know how to be very helpful. And my doula was so good at giving me things that I could do to support my wife while she was giving birth. And I thought that was really helpful. And then we had this episode where I was eating popcorn and one of the husks got into my gum and I was like freaking out. She opened her little magic doula bag and she had a toothpick and she saved the birth for me. So those doulas, you never know. They're like Boy Scouts. They have everything. They're totally prepared.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like going into it, anything that you're nervous about, or?
My nervousness just comes with like the after care, mostly of like the baby. I'm super protective and I don't want to get into it, but like vaccines and all that stuff, like super protective over that. And also like my body, how it's going to feel, how I'm going to feel being sleep deprived. And not only that, I'm going to be in pain, but I know that it's all worth it. And I know that it's going to go away. So
that's why I try really hard to torture you guys with the deep tissue massage so that when you give birth, you'll be like, oh, this is not a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. I'm just like, breathe like it's Dr. Berlin's massages.
Perfect. You guys are amazing. A lot of fun, a lot of energy, and very inspiring to me, both of you. One day I hope to have half as much energy as either of you. Tell me where we can find you. Arianny, where can we find you online?
On my Instagram at Arianny Celeste.
And Richelle, where do you hang out online in the web, in the sphere?
I have an Instagram too. It's Richelle Monet Photo.
Ooh, that's why I couldn't get that. It was already taken. I have to be Richelle Monet Photo too.
Photo.
I love the fact that both of you are committed to coming back separately and sharing your birth stories. You never know how it goes. I always say the birth plan is kind of like a flow chart. On page 1, you put the most natural birth you can think that you might want to try having, which Arianny for you seems like not too interventive birth at the hospital, and Richelle, not too into birth at home. And then it's a flow chart. Like once the journey starts, you're kind of like trying to steer a hot air balloon. It's not very precise. So the wind can blow one way or the other. Either way, you get to your destination that you're looking for. And hopefully you've left yourself some flexibility in case you need to have it. I really appreciate you both coming on and sharing your story. And at home, I appreciate you for tuning into our podcast. For more pregnancy, parenting, media, and information, visit us on Instagram at Dr. Berlin. That's DoctorBerlin. See you on Instagram at Dr. Berlin.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a whole lot of questions for you. This kid's